Hi everyone, and welcome back to my reaction video. I appreciate you stopping by. And today the song we're going to check out is, I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, but I think it's something like Afrique Victime. It might be French or something. Live on KEXP by Mdou Moctar. And I looked up the pronunciation of the name before I recorded this, so hopefully I'm not too far off with the artist's name pronunciation. But yeah, I actually received this as a song donation request from Mdou, so thank you so much for the song donation and request. And I'll go ahead and pull up their message here. And they said, "Hi, this is Mdou. I'm requesting reaction to Mdou Moctar, Afrique Victime live KEXP. Have enjoyed your channel. Hope to hear you talk a bit about your own playing. Just find your channel." So yeah, thank you so much. And I'm not sure what to expect. I've never heard of this artist before. I've never heard any of their music. I think they're a guitarist based on the thumbnail I saw. Looks like a vocalist and a guitarist. So looking forward to seeing what this is like. And I'll try my best to share my own thoughts as a guitar player. So yeah, let's get right into it. And here we go. Oh, there's other members in the band. I didn't know that. Bass as well. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm not sure if Mdou Moctar is actually the name of the band or the name of a single member in the band. At first I thought it was like the guitarist's name. I thought this would just be a guitar performance, but honestly I'm not sure anymore, so please let me know, guys, if that's the name of the band or if that's the name of a single member in the band. But yeah, interesting so far. Interesting guitar so far. So it looks like he's, from what I've seen so far, he's playing all fingerstyle, and then his technique with the fingerstyle is mainly his thumb and the pointer finger are doing the plucking. Also, I think he's a left-handed guitarist. Let me just try to imagine it. Yeah, I think his right hand is the fretting hand here. So that's another interesting thing. And then he's, I think he's playing a Stratocaster with the capo on the 3rd fret. And that's really cool. And then one thing I noticed about his kind of songwriting so far in this guitar lick is that he uses a lot of legato. Like, you don't actually see him pluck that much with his plucking hand. You see mainly a lot of more movement. You hear a lot more notes actually coming from the fretting hand. So like right here. You can see he's actually playing a lot more notes than actually he's plucking the strings. So you can tell he's using a lot of legato in his playing so far. So that's pretty cool. And then his tone so far is a very classic Stratocaster kind of guitar tone. So I'm pretty confident that he's using a Stratocaster. Hopefully I'm not wrong about that. And then I also see in the back there's a Fender amp. So that leads me even more to believe that he's playing a Stratocaster here. But yeah, pretty interesting sound so far. Excited to check this out. Yeah, a lot of hammers and pull-offs in his playing so far. Oh, I like that too. You can see when he plays the chords, he extends his thumb all the way over the top of the fretboard. And that's kind of a way to mute the top strings. It's really, really good when you're playing chords. I wonder where these guys are from. I should have looked into what country they were based in. Oh, it's getting groovy. I'm excited to hear this. But I just want to say so far, the reason why I bring up I wonder what country they're from is because the sound doesn't sound like a typical Western kind of like scale or anything that they're playing. It sounds kind of coming from a different demographic, maybe like the East or somewhere in the Middle East or something like that. Or like African or something like that. So yeah, like the scales they're playing sound kind of different than what you normally hear in Western music. So that's kind of what is intriguing me a bit. Oh, really nice drums so far. Oh, nice. It's kind of shreddy a little bit. Okay, I'm looking at the guitar of the other guitarist here, and I think I saw the name of the brand on the headstock earlier. I think it's a Squire, so also another Fender brand, but they tend to be known to be a little bit lower quality than actual Stratocasters. So that's pretty interesting to see that they're both playing Fender guitars right here. Also, I'm wondering what language that the lead singer is singing in, because I definitely don't think it's English. So yeah, let me know if you guys know what language he's singing in. Wow. Yeah, you can see he's doing these chord changes really, really fast, and he's not even looking at his guitar at all, and that's pretty difficult to do, especially while he's singing, so I really respect the talent here. It's a pretty fast song, too. Definitely not easy. Oh, I want to see that again. Okay, I feel like we're gonna get into a guitar solo right here. Oh, okay, so he changes, I think I see him step on a pedal. He kind of adjusts his knob slightly, then he steps on a pedal, and then his guitar tone completely changes. So I feel like we're primed for a solo right here. But yeah, really, really nice technique right there. I personally don't play fingerstyle, but I know fingerstyle itself is a lot harder than playing with a pick. You need like a lot more coordination between your fretting hand and your picking hand. So yeah, I definitely respect any guitarist who plays fingerstyle. But I'm excited to hear the guitar solo that's coming up right here. very neck pickup like sounds right there. Oh, that was really nice. Oh my god. That is cool. Oh. The two-handed tapping. Wow. Oh my god. I did not expect this at all. Wow. What a technique. Wow. Wow. Okay, it looks like the guitar solo has ended a little bit, maybe. I'm gonna rewind that whole part again, just to point out like everything I heard and kind of give my comment about different techniques and stuff. But wow, I did not expect that. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. Kind of surprised me a little bit. His technique kind of reminds me a little bit of Tom Morello a little bit. Like he kind of has a very like innovative, kind of non-traditional guitar technique. A lot of the sound doesn't sound like it's actually being centered on the notes that are being played, but more on the effects on the technique. So let's go ahead and listen to that again. Wow. And here his guitar tone changes a lot more distorted. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I noticed he doesn't use his pinky a lot when he's playing. He kind of tends to stretch his ring finger a lot more to reach further notes, and then he goes back into his index finger to play like the first note. So he doesn't use his pinky a lot. He's much more of a fan of using his pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger a lot more. Yeah, you can see his pinky here kind of just hangs in the back under the fretboard. That's interesting. And right here. So this is really cool. He's kind of doing like a multi-string tapping right here. Nothing coming from the picking hand, all like hammer-ons right here. And see, it's kind of hard to do this and produce a good sound when you're playing normally without having your picking hand like muting a lot of the string noise, because when you do this, you're kind of just letting your strings go crazy with the noise, right? Like you're not muting any of the strings when you're doing this, and you're kind of just like hammering on and pulling off the notes. But it doesn't sound bad here, and I think that's partly because he's embracing kind of the string noise. Like it's kind of part of the solo, right? A lot of times guitarists normally kind of want to remove that string noise or kind of see it as unwanted. But here it kind of feels like he's embracing it and kind of making it part of actual solo itself. So it actually sounds pretty good hearing all that string noise. And I think he also added a bunch of effects onto his guitar tone here to kind of also accentuate that string noise even more and make it sound more musical, I guess. And it actually sounds really good despite the fact that he's not like muting it at all with this picking hand or anything. So yeah, really, really interesting sound right here. And here we have some two-finger tapping, which is cool. Multi-string tapping too. So yeah, that's really cool. So on his picking hand here, he's using his pointer finger and his ring finger to alternate between the two strings, but then he's moving his middle finger to do the actual tapping across the different strings. So on the fretting hand, he's using two fingers, but on the picking hand, he's only using one finger and going back and forth. So that's really, really cool technique right there. Wow. Yeah, that guitar tone, it sounds like there's some wah in there. And yeah, this part right here reminds me of Tom Morello. Yeah, it's not like actual like notes that he's playing here, but in his solo, it's more like the more percussiveness of like, you know, moving your hand across the strings and stuff like that. It's a lot more like string noise, and he's, you know, really embracing that. It kind of reminds me of like the Bulls on Parade solo from Tom Morello. It's kind of similar in vein to that. Sounds really, really interesting. Really, really creative songwriting to do a solo like this too. Yeah, that's so cool. Like staccato. It's like staccato string noise. And that's so cool. Wow. Yeah, it sounds like some of the effects here that he's doing to produce that really, really cool string noise. It sounds like there's like a phaser or something like that on his guitar tone as well, and some wah maybe as well. Can't say for sure without seeing his pedal board, but yeah, that's how he kind of gets that exotic sound just from like hitting the guitar strings at different areas. A lot of it is also in the effects as well. Wow. Oh, and then back at the last part right there, he's kind of doing like a thing where he's doing a tapping on, not actually on the fretboard, but back at the bridge. All the way back in the bridge, he's doing like a tapping. Hammer on and pull off tapping back at the bridge, and that's what produces that cool sound right there too. It's like playing notes that are not on the fretboard. Some nice bends there now. Kind of back to more traditional guitar right here, with the bends and everything. I like how you see the drummer sweating from this jam right here. Actually like a hammer on pull off riff. Oh, that looks really cool. You can see that lick is kind of like mainly a hammer on a fretboard, but then at the end of each lick, he kind of like mutes the whole fretboard by putting his whole fretting hand over the strings and kind of playing a chord, I think. Yeah, that's cool. my god. Wow, this guy's like the master of using guitar feedback. He's amazing me. At first, I thought he was gonna end it off with that feedback in the beginning, just like have that go on. But then he added a bunch of techniques to it to make it sound like super cool, super avant-garde sounding too. Wow, let's listen to that again. So I thought he was gonna end off just on this feedback right here, but then his picking hand, he starts doing some crazy shit right here. Super avant-garde sounding. Yeah, similar to the solo. He uses techniques similar to the solo. Doing this like choppy kind of motion on the strings with this picking hand. Super, super cool looking as well. And also sounds super cool. It's like staccato feedback if that was a technique that you could make. And then, yeah, the fingers too. Kind of like a tapping on the bridge part of the guitar. Here we have again like the kind of like what did I call it again? It was like the multi-string tapping, but it's not like a very musical kind of tapping you kind of hear in tech death. It's kind of more like a string noise kind of tapping. So definitely very unique. Reminds me a lot again of Tom Morello. Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's actually hammering on any notes fully. He's kind of just letting his like fingers lightly tap the strings to get that string noise rather than actually producing actual notes on the fretboard. So yeah, it sounds really, really interesting. Yeah, the two fingers right there too.
Wow! Mdou Moctar live on KEXP from Thing Festival. That was incredible. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you all for watching and listening today. You can find more live performances on the KEXP YouTube channel, including our live streams from the Thing Fest all weekend long, which you can watch live or later. And you can support all of these sessions by visiting kexp.org/live. Mdou Moctar, thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you for being back. Yes, amazing. That was Mdou Moctar live on KEXP from Thing Festival. Thank you.
Discover great music at kexp.org.
Wow. Okay, so it looks like the lady at the end, the host, pronounced the name like Mdou Moctar or something like that. So hopefully that's the right pronunciation. I'll be using that from now on. But wow, that was crazy. Yeah, his technique is very, very unique. I don't hear stuff like that often. Like I mentioned, like the only times I really hear this kind of like string noise kind of guitar playing is when I listen to like Rage Against the Machine, like with Tom Morello. But other than that, I don't hear it that often. It sounds really, really cool though. It kind of inspired me a little bit to use those kind of techniques in my guitar playing myself. Like when it comes to writing my own guitar solos, I'm a very traditional kind of guitar solo songwriter. And the fact that I use like the traditional guitar techniques like bends, hammer-ons, and pull-offs, um, pinch harmonics, that kind of stuff, tapping, that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is like very percussive. It's actually like how he's hitting the strings. I think like a lot of the techniques he doesn't actually like fully hit the strings to produce the note, right? Like he doesn't actually press down the strings, but he gets rather the noise that is produced from just tapping the strings lightly with your fingertips. So that was really cool to see. I appreciate also the camera work that lets me see his technique very clearly in this one. But yeah, really enjoyable listen. And I think he crafted his guitar tone perfectly for these sections where he's doing like centered primarily on string noise, like primarily on how he's hitting the strings, like we saw during the guitar solo in the outro. Um, I think his guitar tone works really, really well. I think there's a couple effects in there. I didn't get to see his pedal board fully, but I'm sure he has a bunch of pedals down there that kind of dictate his tone. And it sounds really, really cool. Almost like he's adding like musicality to guitar string noise or guitar feedback and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was my reaction to Mdou Mokhtar's Afrique Victime live on KEXP. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this with me as well, and thank you so much again to Calvin Wazoo for the song request and donation. If you guys have any more suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I appreciate you watching this video.